Welcome back to another episode of Sharpen Your Skills, brought to you by my friends at Redo and Parker. Today, we're talking about 4 peaks theory. Now, this may sound like, when you watch it, an exercise in marketing calendaring and planning, but here's the truth. This is actually the secret to unlocking unlimited ad account growth. So stay with me. You're going to be like, Taylor, this has nothing to do with Facebook advertising. It has everything to do with building an amazing brand using paid media. In e-commerce, businesses usually have 2 very natural revenue peaks built in to their annual calendar. So if this is time, and we've got January running all the way through December. And over here on our y-axis, we have our revenue. Many brands, let's put June right in the middle, just so we get a sense, have a 2-peak calendar. It looks something like this, where they are benefiting from Q4. This is a very natural peak that almost every e-commerce business benefits from. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, gifting. It's called Black Friday because that's when most retail businesses would reach profitability after all year long grinding out a short loss only to get into the black on Friday. So this is a very natural rhythm. And then usually businesses have a second tentpole moment. In this case, this may be something like Father's Day. Other businesses, you'll see it happen during an annual sale that they have, an anniversary moment. Maybe it's Valentine's Day. Maybe it's back to school. Maybe you're in health and wellness and it's January. But usually businesses have a natural 2-peak schedule. But the best brands in the world understand how to unlock additional peaks. This is what I call 4 peaks theory, is the ability to turn valleys into peaks. The key with this is to get ahead in your marketing calendar to think about what might exist in these lower moments to drive disproportionate value capture through a planned initiative. The reason this is so critical in e-commerce is multiple reasons. One is about cash flow. One of the hardest things about a calendar that looks like this in e-commerce is that when you think about, let's say the average production timeline for a product is 4 to 6 months. From the time you place a PO until the product arrives and you can sell it. That means that if I'm buying for my peak in December, I'm placing that PO in the valley. My Q4 purchase order has to happen in a period where my cash is very low. This is risk of death and often impedes brands from confidently making larger investments into their inventory position in Q4 and actually suppresses the peak because they don't have the cash to actually satiate the full level of demand because they are in a valley. Same thing here. If this is your June peak, then you're having to make this PO here in February. So this is your Q2 PO. The same reality exists where if I don't have enough cash on hand, I may be more risk averse and lower my opportunity in those peak moments. So by creating an additional moment of demand capture into these off seasons versus just riding the evergreen hamster wheel that happens of just trying to beat the last ad that I ran, you design a moment, it's going to help with cash flow. It's going to give you more confidence to build and make larger investments into your most critical moments of the year. Number 2 is it grows your active customer file ahead of key peaks. If you can create secondary peaks ahead of here, what peaks do, a peak equals increased new customer acquisition. Now, when you think about the LTV curve of customers that you acquire, okay, if this is time and this is revenue, every new customer curve or lifetime value of a customer for an e-commerce business looks like this. That means that from the day that they come in, this is day one, the customer value that they add to the business will decrease over time. That means the most valuable your customers are within 60 days of purchase. That'll be the most LTV you ever capture off of existing customers, no matter the product category, will happen disproportionately in the immediate period following their acquisition. So you can imagine the customers that you acquire in September, in this case, or the customers that you acquire in April, have a disproportionate effect on the size of these peaks. And because your active customer file is decreasing in these periods, because you're not adding a bunch of new customers, it actually, again, suppresses the peak potential. So these off-season peaks aren't just about driving more cash flow. They're also about increasing the size of the active customer file for the sake of generating higher peaks in those core moments. And then the most obvious answer is just increasing overall rev and efficiency. CEOs, I have a question. What is your homepage on your browser? And why is it not your bank account? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because in e-commerce, you have all these really important data sources, like your ad spend, your Shopify account, your email service provider, that all flow into some business intelligence that's likely the homepage for you right now. But the problem is, this tool is very expensive and is actually often siloed from the most important information in your business, your bank account, and ultimately your financial and accounting data. So what happens is you get a siloed, disparate set of information for you to track every day. Well, good news. My friends at Parker are solving that for you. They have turned your banking account into a home for all of the most critical business information that you have in their new analytics from Parker. Finally, one place to view everything from your cash flow to your cohorts to your media performance, all in one critical central home base. GetParker.com, tell them Taylor sent you, and check out the new home base for e-commerce. Get closer to your money, tear down the wall between marketing and finance. Parker is here to help. Okay, so great, Taylor. Create moments that are peaks. How do we go about introducing what I call the progressive peaking methodology, where our peaks get progressively larger throughout the year? That's the ideal scenario. So how do we, once a quarter, create progressively increasing moments that drive disproportionate demand? What are the kinds of peaks that have that opportunity? There are some very obvious ones. Number one is promotion. If we think about what Black Friday, Cyber Monday really is it's nothing more than a sale. It's a cultural, nationwide sale that the entire country has agreed to participate in. What I would encourage you to think about is to think about at least one other tentpole moment, whether this is the anniversary of your business. I'll give you some examples, actually, of things that I've seen people do. We worked with 47 brand, which is a licensor, that every April, let's see where this might be headed, on 4/7 day, they created an alternative peak in a period where it did not exist by having a brand moment built around their DNA to create 4/7 day. And it was the only other time of the year before Black Friday, Cyber Monday that they ran a sale. And it was an off-peak moment where they were able to drive disproportionate value capture. So they actually are a very good representation of the standard schedule, where Father's Day for a licensor that sells men's hats and t-shirts and other sports merchandise is a big day. They had Q4 already built into their calendar that's monumental. And so they had this very similar strategy. So this development of 4/7 day is a way to create a promotion or an anniversary sale around an opportunity. We have another customer that does this on International Women's Day, where they take a tentpole moment. They have a female customer base. International Women's Day is in March 3rd. They do it, they highlight and celebrate some of their awesome, amazing female customers, and they create a peak where their only other sale, not Q4 related, is International Women's Day. Promotion is an obvious way to create an additional peak that you can plan for, you can message towards, where you're arbitraging to increase the conversion rate against the standard moment by offering an exclusive and rare promotional event. Number 2 is product release. How can you design and release new products that take a period that is a valley and create an increased opportunity? So I'll give you an example for a skincare brand. We have a skincare brand called Bamboo Earth that has a natural peak in January, okay? And that actually has we have our anniversary sale in August, okay? Black Friday, Cyber Monday is not actually that big for this brand. So you have a natural 2-peak rhythm that is January because it's a moisturizer. And when it gets cold, people tend to invest in wellness. And then you have an anniversary sale in August. Those are our key sale that we run every August. So you can see right at the beginning of the summer tends to be the period where we're struggling the most to generate value. So when we think about a product development, we wanted to create a moisturizer with SPF in it, sunscreen, right? And message towards the effects of sun. If a moisturizer generally about the effects of dry skin, which is affected primarily by winter weather, cold wind, then a new product that actually speaks to the protection against the sun and releasing it in June is a good way to think about how product development can overlay or peaks theory to help offset this giant cash valley that we had ahead of a peak moment. And now we create a natural 3rd peak in the middle of June. So product release and designing into those moments is a great opportunity to take advantage of key moments. All right, I'm interrupting this episode of 4-Quarter Accounting to bring you another way to save money in Q4. In reality, when I do 4-Quarter Accounting, we're starting all the way down here at net sales. But the reality is that there are 2 silent killers of profitability that exist before we even get to your CAC, OPEX, or cost of delivery. And it has to do with your discount rate and return rate. We know going into Q4, we're going to have to discount. It's an expectation of the customer. But how do we reduce this second one, returns? Well, looking at an example here, gross sales of $1 million, discounts of $200,000, returns at $150,000. That's 17% of your money that's going to discounts. And we've seen it be as high as 30% for some apparel brands. We know in Q4 that can inflate too because you have gifting purchases and other complications related to buying. Well, my friends at Redo have an awesome solution because a lot of times brands have to choose between, do I offer free returns or do I make them pay? Well, if I make them pay, I've seen data that says that 75% of customers say they will not buy, no buy without free returns. So what do? You either get killed in your profitability or you eat it and make the customer dissatisfied. Well, Redo offers you a solution. They enable an automated pay a small coverage fee at checkout. They auto apply it for every customer, and then that enables free returns and exchanges covered by Redo. In addition to that, they also offer you order tracking, support, as well as the ability to handle warranties and processes. So you can combine 7 different vendors from your software into one. You get free returns. And we've seen on average brands save $40,000 by switching to Redo. So combine a bunch of your software stack into one, enable free returns for your customers at a benefit to them at a small coverage fee that's auto-applied at checkout, and you're going to be saving an immense amount of money. And tell them Taylor sent you right now, and you get $100 to Bad Birdie just for watching a demo. I'm here for your margin innovation, another Q4 solution to a big problem, returns. GetRedo.com. Number 3 are limited edition releases. With advertising, we're always forcing ourselves to answer the question, why does someone need to buy right now? What is the imperative for purchase today? And for some product, the natural seasonal rhythms actually create such that that imperative only exists in small windows. I talked about 47 brand, or we used to run a business selling these products right here, which were men's wallets made from old baseball gloves. Again, very natural Father's Day and Q4 gifting product, but huge void that would exist in these other periods. And so the answer to that problem was to create a very special product line where we would design 500 limited edition products. And again, a great thing to tie that to is the fourth thing. I'm going to unify these together, is a cultural moment. So imagine you're a brand selling wallets made from old baseball gloves, and you're going to take the start of the baseball season, okay, the opening day of the MLB, which is usually like April 1st, and you're going to create 500 made from gloves of current MLB players, whatever you're going to do to create a scarce moment. Now, this is not going to drive necessarily a bunch of volume off just the 500 units, but the ads that you create disproportionate increases in CTR, reduced CPC, and increased conversion around the rest of your product line as well. And so you're using that to drive attention to your business and an imperative for purchase and awareness that may not exist in the rest of the year. Promotion, product release, limited edition, cultural moment. Think about all the things that exist, from the Olympics to back to school day to Valentine's Day to there's a day now for everything. There's Brother's Day, Sister's Days, Pets Day, et cetera, that you could try to tie yourself into. There's rush season for sorority. There's the start of the college football season. There's the NBA finals. There are all sorts of things that our culture cares about that you can use to tie it into a brand story to drive attention for your business. The other things I've seen people do is sweepstakes. So again, this is where you're trading on the idea that you are going to drive an opportunity to win. Think about this as the McDonald's Monopoly game, right? So why people are actually getting engaged and participate with your brand in a low area is because they have some additional incentive related to a chance to win some amazing trip or a car or whatever it might be that drives intention and engagement. Also, as part of this episode, comment peaks below to receive our 2025 marketing calendar and inspire your own peaks from it. Now back to the drawing. All of these things have the opportunity to take your calendar, increase your cash flow, grow your active customer file, increase overall revenue and efficiency. Now, by planning out and making sure that at least each quarter, what you're going to do that is you're going to prepare for a broader unified marketing effort. This is the big thing. The reason that this unlocks things in the ad account is two things it does. One is it unifies your marketing department, okay? Most of the time, what I see us doing with our ad account is we act in isolation. In other words, the message that's on the homepage of the website, that's going out in email, that's in the TV commercial, that's being shown at retail, are all disconnected from one another. We're attempting to make the marketing work in the ad account disparate from all the other effort that we're putting out. But this calendaring exercise around these peak moments unifies all channels into a single effort in the same direction, such that the customer's interaction with your ad account is likely not the only touch point that they're seeing. You're going to find influencers, you're going to get podcasts, you're going to get other media, you might do an event around the moment. It's all going to work together to amplify the effects of every channel that exists. The second is the understanding of exactly how Meta's bidding algorithm works. Most of the time, Meta is using an ECR, estimated conversion rate, to establish the bid that it's willing to pay to put your ad into the auction to gain placement into a user's feed. Okay, so if you think about someone's IG feed, right? It's infinity ads on their IG feed. Access into that feed costs some amount of money for every user. Meta's determination if they're going to place your ad into that feed is a combination of their assessment of the user's satisfaction with that ad, as well as the amount of money you're willing to pay for that inventory. And they do that based on an estimation of the conversion rate once someone interacts with that ad. So they call it estimated action rate, which is click-through rate times conversion rate. Now, if for a month you've been running with an estimated conversion rate of, let's say, 1% against a CTR of 1%, well, the amount of auctions that you're going to be able to win are limited. But when you create this sudden surge in demand, your conversion rate will go up. One, maybe it'll even double, 2%. And so two things are going to happen. One, you're going to have a period of short-term arbitrage where the efficiency of this same bid at this same CTR is going to convert twice as often, which means your ROAS is going to go up. That's going to be the first effect. You're going to have a higher ROAS generated by these moments. But then Meta's going to realize that they can actually increase the bid to win more placements. And that's when it follows by corresponding volume. This is why when you go look at Black Friday and Cyber Monday, again, the obvious example is everybody's conversion rate goes up. And what happens is you're able to get more volume. You're able to spend more money to reach more users because they convert more often. It's an underpinning of a cultural behavior set that allows you to bid more money, to win more auctions, to get into more feeds. Peaks create the same effect, where because you're driving conversion rate up in a short-term imperative, you get more volume at higher efficiency. And all of these items here, promotion, product release, limited edition collaborations, cultural moments, sweepstakes, all with a careful, clear planning where they are ahead of one another. They take the valleys and they drive them forward while leveraging the natural seasonality of your business, are the secret to unlocking unlimited ad account growth. The evergreen hamster wheel of just trying to make the next great ad and beat the previous ad is a fool's errand. Instead, unify your marketing, arbitrage the expected conversion rate, and drive better success through 4 Peaks Theory.